Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So back in November, I went on a bit of a baking spree. I had just moved here. I was planning on traveling back to Ottawa in a few weeks, so I wasn't really looking for work and I was just trying to keep myself busy. So I started baking. And I normally gravitate towards cookies. Cookies are like my favorite thing to bake because I generally don't mess them up as much as I mess up other things. So I started making these cookies pretty much out of boredom, and they turned out to be the absolute best cookies I have ever made, which says a lot because I kind of suck at baking at home. It's really weird. I love doing pastries at work, I love baking at work, I love going through new and fun recipes and playing around with it. But as soon as I'm in my home setting, something just like turns off in my brain and I mess everything up. You can ask anybody in my family, if there's baking that needs to be done around the holidays and my name comes out, one of my sisters will be like, no, don't let Tessa near that. She's gonna burn it, she's gonna skip a step, she's gonna forget an ingredient, all things that have happened. Like, I am known to really not follow a recipe to a T. So I mess things up all the time. And when I always tell my family like, oh, I made this really cool dessert at work, they're like, you did? You made a dessert? And it worked? And I'm like, listen, okay, come on. Now, I'm not saying that I don't mess things up at work. I have a 50-50 shot at work of having something turn out well. And I tend to focus more. I think that's what it is. Because I'm being paid, you know, so I focus more so I don't mess up. When I'm at home, I'm like, whatever, what's the worst that could happen? Ooh, too much baking soda. Don't put too much baking soda in, it's really gross. So, like the fact that I can make this cookie and it turns out really well, like, yeah, that's saying something. That's really saying something. So we're going with it, and I'm gonna show you guys what we're making. So I guess I should tell you, we are making Nutella-filled brown butter chocolate chip cookies. I know it's a mouthful, but it's also a mouthful of delicious. That came out wrong. You know what I mean. You understand what I mean. They are super, super, super good. And obviously there's Nutella in them, so I mean, that makes them extra tasty. And this recipe's got a couple changes to it. It's got a lot less sugar in it than your standard cookie recipe because we are putting Nutella or a chocolate hazelnut spread in the middle. And because of that, I decided to reduce the overall amount of sugar in the cookie itself because it's just too sweet. I think it's too sweet. Some people love like ultra sweet things. I don't. So I reduced the sugar greatly because of the filling. And we're also using brown butter. Oh my God, I love brown butter. I love using brown butter in baking. It adds a really good depth of flavor. It's just butter that you melt on the stove and you essentially are caramelizing it. So you're watching it go through its process. So it'll melt down, it'll start bubbling, it'll start foaming. That's when you want to pay attention to it, when it starts foaming. And then you should be able to start smelling. It smells really nutty. And you should be able to kind of get those notes and then be like, okay, my butter's done. So that's when you want to kind of swirl it around and give it a check. And you're looking at the bottom of your pan or pot, whatever you're using, you're looking for little brown specks. As soon as you start seeing that action, turn your pan off because it will continue to cook. Scrape it really lightly with a spatula, and that's it. Super good, super good. So I guess I should kind of get into this, eh? So I'll go through our ingredients and equipment, and then we're gonna make these cookies together. So ingredient-wise, I have 1 3/4 cups of flour, 1 whole egg, 1/4 cup of chocolate chips, half a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, half a cup of brown butter, and I've got 10 teaspoons of Nutella. So I've just dropped them on the plate. And I'm gonna pop these in my freezer because I do need these to be frozen so that I can put it in the cookie dough. So we're making 10 cookies, hence 10 little spots of Nutella. And that's it. So I'm just gonna put these in the freezer while I talk about equipment. As far as equipment goes, pretty standard. We're making cookies. So I have a mixing bowl, my whisk and wooden spoon, and then a sheet pan with a little bit of parchment paper on it. And I have preheated my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. As far as process, I pop my Nutella balls into the freezer and I'm gonna start working on my cookie batter, okay? So, really, really simple. I'm gonna take my brown butter into my mixing bowl, and I'm going to add my vanilla extract, my egg, and my brown sugar. And I'm just gonna give this a good mix. All right, so this is all good. So take a look at this, the color. So this is mostly from the brown butter. So brown butter and brown sugar are giving me the cookie base. Okay, so I'm done with this. It smells amazing. Looks questionable, but it smells amazing. In this bowl with my flour, I'm just gonna mix in all the baking soda, the salt, the baking powder, and I'm gonna throw in my chocolate chips. So I'm just gonna take my dry ingredients, mix it into the butter and sugar, and I'm just going to mix with my wooden spoon, okay? I think I said 1 3/4, and I definitely meant 1 1/3 cups. So it's a fairly soft dough, pretty pliable, it's very buttery. Once your dough is together and looks like so, we can start putting our Nutella in the center. So what you want to do, you're going to take probably about 2 tablespoons worth of dough, roll it into a big ball, just flatten it out. It should flatten pretty easy, okay? And then you're going to take one of your Nutella balls into the center, and we're just going to close it up, okay? And then just give it a nice little roll again so that it seals. And there we go. So this is what we're going for. Onto our sheet pans. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep filling these. You wanna get them back in the freezer for about 10 minutes so the Nutella on the inside really firms up. This is what they look like right now. They're shiny, glossy, and beautiful. So I'm gonna pop them in the freezer, 10 minutes, into the oven at 375. For 10 to 12, and then they'll be good to go. Okay, everybody, we are back with these beautiful cookies. Look at these bad boys. Look at how nice they are. Okay, so you get a nice, delicious cookie. So the bottom is golden. They're nice and beautiful, and I'm excited. I'm so excited. You ready? We're gonna break into one. When I squeeze it, all the Nutella comes out. Oh yeah. So there we have it. Oh my god. So the cookie itself is not overly sweet, but with the filling, it's amazing. Oh, it's so good. It's really chewy. It's really moist. I'm telling you, this is the best cookie I've ever made. So that's it, everyone. That is how you make delicious Nutella-filled brown butter chocolate chip cookies. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. I know I did, and I cannot wait to eat the rest of these. Don't forget to leave this video a like if you enjoyed it. Drop a comment down below if there's something you want to see me make, and subscribe to my channel to see new videos like this every Wednesday. Have a good one, guys. See you next week. Bye.